See, Joe stunts. See, they have his mark over there. I don't know what that means. See over here? Anime was buried here somewhere too, but they moved her. See, I'm not sure if they moved him. Someone told me they did, but I don't know.
So why did they run here?
This is where well, I think before the run began a few years ago, they always had this circle here. They come here and they pray, and then they walk towards Grandma Jumping Bull's. But because Joe Stuntz is buried here, Anime Aquash was buried here, but it looks like they moved both of them. See, this is her marker right there. But I know definitely she was moved.
So you knew both Joe and Anime?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, right before he got killed, I was helping him put a bandage on his arm because he got burnt by a muffler. So we were hanging out in the camps and we heard the gunshots. So he took off running, you know, everybody took off, all the guys took off running up to the top, you know, because we were like down in the lower level. We had a camp down there. That was the last time we seen him. But yeah, so a lot of, well, when I've been here a long time ago, I think they were only just this was the Littles, their family cemetery. But they held Joe's burial down there. They had him in the teepee after June 26th. But when they had him sitting in a teepee and they buried him in the teepee that they had down at the camp, we had a teepee, and the feds, you know, knifed it all up, tore all our tents and stuff up. So that's what he was wrapped in, and they buried him the Dakota traditional way.
You guys had to sneak into the funeral?
Well, me and my friend, nobody really knew who was what or who was what, you know. So yeah, we were hiding out in Porcupine, and me and my friend Lena, we walked down to the store and cut right over here. So yeah, had to make sure we came to see Joe get buried. But yeah, it's a long time ago. So yeah, so how many years ago is that?
47.
Yeah, 47 years. Wow. But a lot of people, you know, from the movement have been passed on since then. I think Bo Lilska is buried here too. A lot of different movement people. But I'm almost positive that that I heard that Joe's not here no more. But I know Anime's been moved.
Yeah, and that's his
one of his markers, yeah.
Yeah, his placards.
Incident at Oglala Warrior, American Indian Movement Patriot, Coeur d'Alene Tribe, Spokane, Washington. Died with honor defending his people. So yeah, he barely, like, he got shot like about right here. Like another inch, he wouldn't, you know, got missed. But never know why.
Did they ever find out who killed him?
No, his death has never been investigated. He was murdered, and of course they didn't really care. They still don't care. That's why Leonard Peltier is still in prison.
And what about Anime? Why did they bury Anime here?
Because the people, the women of the Oglalas got her from, I think she was buried once down in Red Cloud, and they released her body to some women. I'm not sure exactly who, but they had her funeral here and up here at the Jumping Bull Hall. It's no longer there, and they buried her here. I guess, you know, back then there wasn't like real close communication. You couldn't just call on the cell phone, and you know, I'm not sure why, the reason why, but basically if you look at hers too, it says that died with honor defending her people. Woman warrior, the Wounded Knee, 1973, American Indian Movement Patriot, Micmac Tribe, I don't know how to say the next one, but Nova Scotia. But she was definitely part of our circle, you know. When we used to stay here in Oglala, a couple times I seen her here. And after the shootout, she came down to Porcupine. She said, I've been missing you guys, you know. She was worried, you know. She was like their bro. She was on a whole nother level as a woman, you know. She was kind of like more of a warrior status. You know, she wasn't like, well, she was in the kitchen too, you know. She did everything, and that's kind of what a warrior is. You know, they don't just stop standing up in front, but they're in the kitchen. They're doing the things that, you know, have to be done, and it didn't really matter what it was. But yeah, she was a pretty strong woman, and I feel like a lot of people were jealous of her because of her beauty, and, you know, who knows why she was killed. But I know whoever did it will have to pay someday. You know, because you don't just go and tell somebody. The theory is that some people think first the whole American Indian movement, or it was a conspiracy, but that's not true. Somebody made a decision upon themselves that did it, you know. I know someone can't tell me go kill somebody. You know, whoever did it, or the ones that were there, one of them pulled the trigger, but they all pointed fingers at each other. But I think that, I don't know. I think they could have stopped it. She didn't have to die.
What do you think the biggest misconception about that day is in 1975?
What, June 26th? I think the misconception is that the FBI actually had a reason to be here. And, you know, under sovereign nations, you know, they have to have a real reason to be here. And the reason they came out was looking for somebody's cowboy boots. To me, that doesn't qualify as one of the top crimes that they're, you know, they put themselves to be able to be here for. So it's questionable. They were unmarked cars. They didn't have uniforms on. And the time period was lived by the law of the gun. People were being shot at, run over, killed. So everybody's on the defensive and basically lived by the gun. That's why Leonard and them were doing security here in Oglala. They were asked by the grandma and grandpa and the community members to be here. And that's just for the mere reason if you couldn't have a sweat lodge without being shot at or targeted, or if you had long hair, same thing. So yeah, people need security, especially American Indian movement. So we have like the tribal government under Dick Wilson that was supplied by the United States government. Ammunition, automatic weapons, APCs. They got all that during Wounded Knee, but they continued that reign of terror afterwards. And they were basically vigilantes against their own people. And anybody that had ceremonies, or if you were associated with AIM, if you had long hair, you were a target by the goon squads. So yeah, it was a pretty scary time, you know. And I'm thankful that Leonard and them were there, you know, to protect us, you know. They protected us from, you know, death. You know, my brother was only 11. He had no choice but to turn himself in. You know, we had a choice at the time. Are you gonna, you can, you know, I'm sorry, this is what Leonard told us, me and my brother and everybody. Sorry, you know, this is going on. You guys, I'll make a decision. I'll go up there on top of that hill with your hands up and turn yourself in. You know, stand up there like that. And my brother didn't have a choice because he was only 11. But he went up there. All of us decided to stay. We're all going to go out together. I think there was 11 of us. And so when my brother went up there, you could hear gunshots. And he was telling me that, you know, they shot at him and he went to an outhouse. But he survived, so we're still here today. And it really feels, I feel actually kind of sad, kind of happy because I survived this long to tell the story. So, you know, there's a lot of people have misconceptions about why we were here and what we were doing. Basically, the court of law, when Dino Butler and Bob Rabidou went to court, found them not guilty on the basis of self-defense. And the FBI basically attacked our people, and they've been attacking them even afterwards. So that's one of the things that I'm thankful for being here. A lot of people died since then. You know, the American Indian movement was a spiritual movement, not necessarily an armed movement, but reality did make it that we had to be armed, you know, to protect ourselves. We have a lot of people that have never been, over 60 people that their deaths have never been investigated. And recently the FBI put a little thing out, oh, this person, that person, you know, they made like 3 words about their death. You know, it came out in a document not too long ago. One was alcohol related, or, you know, dumb things. But because they know the scrutiny of 47 years later, I'm talking like maybe within the last 5 years this report has come out, because it's obvious they didn't care about our people and they didn't care to investigate their deaths when they died under their direction. Basically, when you give people free reign and automatic weapons and ammunition to target their own people, I mean, they're just as guilty. So that's one of the things that the United States government, you know, they're not gonna admit their wrongs or how they've treated all our nations. All our sovereign nations have been treated with disrespect. Our land's been taken. And they don't want to admit, or they don't want to let Leonard out of prison, because there's a lot more for them to acknowledge with them being wrong. It's the treaties. Everything's interrelated. The boarding schools, they haven't even addressed that. I mean, it's all one circle. And it was an immediate attack on our families and our community from first contact. And that's one of the reasons I think that they don't do it. They don't want to put the story in our history books, because the pattern's there, how they've been targeting our people, colonizing as they do to other countries. We're right here within the territory. This is our land, but they don't want to acknowledge it. But we know, and we're not going to forget that we're under treaty land and we have our own laws. We're sovereign. But that's basically some of my thoughts.